Oh my God, we're back again. Brother, sister, everybody came. Is that the lyrics? Brother, sister, everybody came? All right, we need to dive right into this. I'm going to grab my laptop. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. It's been a minute. Okay, listen, your boy, everybody, Backstreet back. Lyrics. We're starting off deep into it. Brother, sister, oh, okay. My apologies. It says, brothers, sisters, everybody sing. It's just still a weird thing because are you a cult? Why are you saying brother, sister, everybody sing? Gonna bring the flavor, show you how. First off, a group of 5 white guys are not gonna bring the flavor. Let's be real. Okay. Bobby Flay made all these white guys think that they could actually cook. All right. Unless you're Bobby Flay, who's the guy that always yells at everybody? How am I blanking on his name? I think I have early set dementia. Gordon Ramsay. Unless you're those 2 white guys, don't say you're ever going to bring the flavor. All right. It's just disrespectful. And it's appropriation of every single minority culture. Let's be honest. Backstreet Boys, are you kidding me? Bring the flavor. We're going to bring you the flavor with the most bland, vanilla, no pun intended, songs of all time. Everybody. Dude, it was just dancing. At some point during every Backstreet Boys song, someone's going to have their heart broken. Someone's going to fix a heart. Someone's going to apologize. Someone's going to treat someone right. Like, it's just like, it's the formula. You know, there's nothing groundbreaking about, like, if you got a Backstreet Boy album or any boy band, you're not going to be blown away by the content. All right. It's the same people who get mad at comic book movies. What do you want? All right. You want Shawshank Redemption out of a comic book movie? Listen, if you're wondering what I'm fooling around with my mouth, got a cough drop, finishing it up. Listen, your boy has been down and out for 2 weeks. All right. We went 2 weeks without a podcast episode, and I'm sorry. Okay. Because listen, people wondering, Wednesday, Evan, well, maybe it's going to be a Friday episode. Oh, Friday comes around. Did you fucking forget about us, Evan? And you know what? I didn't. But I couldn't do the podcast. My voice was just gone. All right. If you go back and you listen, you don't have to listen. This is an M. Night Shyamalan movie where there's going to be a crazy twist. But if you go to my Instagram, there's a clip I put out at this like cabin looking place I was performing. Dude, I'll perform anywhere. I don't give a shit. Cult, Backstreet Boy reunion. We're going to get that back up. Reunion. I'll perform anywhere. All right. At this point in my career, I'm not saying no to venue opportunities. I'm in like a cabin. During my set, I posted this clip. There was a lady literally dying. There's an old lady hacking up a lung. She's just like, to the point where I'm like, I have to acknowledge this lady dying, because the second I see the crowd distracted by something that is happening in the room, I gotta acknowledge it. All right. And this lady dying, I'm pretty sure one of her lungs was on the table. I'm literally just like, hey, please don't die, lady. And you know, we had a fun moment with it. Everything went on fine. I went to another show after that. Fine. Next day I wake up. Your boy's got a mild sweat. All right. You ever this is how I know I'm starting to get a little under the weather, is whenever I start getting just a mild sweat for no reason. All right. Maybe I'm not exercising that hard, but I just feel like I'm working harder. And I'm just like, I'm not feeling that good. Something is afoot. I'm getting sick. Okay. And that's what was happening. And here's why I'm probably one of the dumbest people on the planet. I keep going. I keep being like, no, I'm just going to push through. I'm a man. All right. The patriarchy. I carry it on my shoulders out here. And I keep moving, just getting worse and worse. Just being like, nah, bed rest is for pussies. All right. Just keep getting worse and worse. Then I'm down for an entire week. And I start having a little bit of getting better. So what do I do like a dumb person? I start working out hard. I start doing too much. Relapse. All right. This has been almost 3 weeks, legit 3 weeks almost of just having like a cough and just crazy shit happen. And have I been working out probably way too much during that time period? Yeah. Oh man, I gotta keep going. Who's gonna carry the boats? All right. I've been brainwashed by a generation of just pushing through shit. All right. And here's the dark truth about it. No one gives a fuck. All right. If you get sick, you gotta keep moving. All right. Who's gonna carry the boats? You gotta be a man. All right. It is wild. This whole let's not just spring into this, but fuck it. It is wild, the weird attack on the patriarchy. I think we just kind of lost sight of a lot of things of traditional. I'm just like Caitlyn Jenner, where I'm like, I'm kind of a traditional gal. But like we legit just abandoned gender roles. We kind of abandoned gender as a society, which is kind of a wild thing. You know, like we've gotten so lost in the weeds of just saying yes to everything because we want to be accepting of everything. To where it's like, what were there? How many genders are there? At some point, we got to go, nah. At some point, when you're proposing some of these genders, we just got to kind of stop for a second and go, hey, nah, not right now. Even that, I don't even want to shut the door. I'm so open-minded, bro. I'm so open-minded that I'll say, nah, not right now. Let's revisit that in 3 months. Let's deal with the economy circling the toilet. Let's deal with all the money going over the Ukraine. Let's deal with the government shutdowns. Let's deal with global heating or whatever's happening. Let's deal with all that stuff before we decide that you can be a ghost. Nah, not right now. Two-spirit. That's one of the genders I think that they proposed is two-spirited. Because when I hear two-spirited, I just think, oh, you got too much pep in your step. Two-spirited, calm down. Nah, not right now. I let people, that's the thing, is how far are we going to go? I'll let people believe some wacky shit. No sweat off my back, all right? You believe whatever you want to believe. But I feel like if we're going to put energy and stuff into things, let's deal with all this weird shit we got going on. I feel like we got to prioritize the food pyramid, if you will, of life. Which the whole food pyramid, there's got to be something Illuminati with the triangle and everything, the food pyramid. It's crazy what foods they recommend in the food pyramid. We're all over the place right now, ladies and gentlemen. But it's a wild world. And that's the thing is I feel like there's been such maybe this is what happens when you hit your 30s. Is you settle in to really think about shit because you gotta. Because it's like you're gonna have kids, you have to be an adult, and you realize there's no other real adults. That's what part of it is too of getting older, is when you realize, oh, all the adults before were just faking it. No, it doesn't feel like that. You know, like the life there's no point where you're just like, you feel like a grown up. And then granted, maybe it's because I'm a comedian. And it's like, I'm a silly person. And maybe that's why I don't feel like a real adult or like what an adult is supposed to be. But my view and perspective of what an adult was an illusion of being a little kid. You remember when you would see like a 30-year-old as a little kid? Dude, I would see 30-year-olds as a little kid and I'd be like, what are you doing outside? Go get in a museum, you old bag of bones. You old dinosaur. How are you still walking out here amongst us? And granted, dude, if you were ever at a party and you're like 19 and there's a 30-year-old older brother or sister, you want to put a dunce cap on them. Dunce cap. You want to put a dunce cap on them, all right? And be like, go back to your geriatric home living, wherever assisted home you just came from. Because we're trying to turn up and you're fucking up my vibe. You're reminding me that death is coming soon. All right? I just thought older people knew what was going on. And that's like what is crazy. And I think that's all you can do in life is just try to experience life, because there's like I don't know if wisdom comes with age. I think wisdom comes with experience. Because you ever see some people who are older, but you can just tell they've been doing the same thing for like 30, 40 years. And you're like, oh, you haven't really experienced a lot outside of this bubble. You're kind of living numb to life. It's like a wild thing. It's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is becoming numb to like existence and like trying things in life. Because I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of this shit doesn't matter. And this isn't me getting weird and you're like, maybe I should call and check in on Evan. I think a lot of shit that we care about in the world doesn't fucking matter. And like all that truly matters is the people who love you and like who you enjoy being around and how you feel and what you decide to do with your life. Because like there's a lot of people that get caught in a loop and a life where they're trying to impress people that that truly don't give a fuck about them, but they don't even know. It's all this like artificial existence of social media and all of that. And you're giving up your life source just to impress the people on your phone? Everybody. Irony that I'm putting this out for people to listen to and enjoy. But it is just crazy. And that's what being sick a little bit does for you. I don't have the plague. I mean, maybe I do. Who knows? This could be the beginning of the end. This could be the bacteria worm in my brain doing all this talking. Just the maestro, the puppet master, the wizard behind the screen or whatever that shit was, the curtain. Anyway, but being sick will make you realize how much you appreciate just not being sick. That's what I realize is when you're sick and you can't do the things you enjoy or the things you need to do, it like puts everything in perspective. I also use it as downtime to like get some shit done on the computer and stuff that I just have been putting off and been like, I don't want to deal with that right now. So I think that's a plus thing. I think everything is, if you can just flip it put it in reverse and flip it, it's your feminine epiphania, whatever Missy Elliott was trying to get across. But yeah, what else, ladies and gentlemen? It is crazy. Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, most vanilla white guys saying they're going to bring the flavor. Anyway, we're off that. We've moved on. What else is going on in your guys' world? Your boys started doing shows again. Lucky I got sick where there was a week downtime where I had no shows. And I was like, this is cool. I was going to, still going doing spots and just working on the craft. I was writing a lot, but I also, if you're not getting on stage and you're not actually doing it in front of a crowd, the motivation and just the bore of writing jokes in a vacuum is just bleh. You like want to get on stage and work it out and like really get feedback on jokes because you can almost waste too much time on jokes if there's like no feedback. That's why it's so important. Anyway, this isn't a comedy masterclass. I don't know how many comedians even listen to this, and I don't want to become a podcast that's just about comedy. I'm out here all about living, brother. All right. Listen, these next couple months, your boy is going to be working a lot, but let me tell you something. My birthday's in November. Get me something nice. I don't really care. But November, December, listen, October even, I'm all about spooky season. I'm all about the holidays. Your boy loves it. At the end of the day, your boy's a basic bitch. All right? It's true. Everybody knows it. All right? And a couple things happen. We start going into these colder months. Texas obviously gets nicer to live in and to exist in. But guess what? Deer season right around the corner. Trout season. They're about to start stocking the Guadalupe River. Your boy has been getting ready to start fly fishing for the first time. Listen, I've been fishing recently, just getting out in the old nature, and there's nothing I love more. I fantasize about that existence. I was looking at property in Montana today. I love the idea of, like, this is almost my goal. I want to get successful enough with comedy to where I can travel all across the country, even the world, see all these dope spots and do it and have a great existence and not live in a city. I want to live in like Montana, have like 30, 40 acres, have a nice, farm and just a homestead, have my kids go to a good school. I don't know about homeschooling. I maybe some kind of hybrid because schools are getting wacky in the country. But I want to just exist like that. I don't like the city. It's cool to go into. Like, I like the setup I have now where I kind of can go on, but like the congestion, I don't think humans are meant to live like that. All right. The hustle bustle. What are you running from? What's all this distraction? And you know what? A homeless person ain't a homeless person if they're out in the wilderness. That's a survivor, brother. All right. Like, why? That's the thing is, if I was homeless, dude, I'd be out in the great outdoors. I'd be filming my own alone episodes. That's pretty much what being homeless in the woods is you're just an episode of Alone that no one knows about. It's got to be great. You know how satisfying and fulfilling it would be to be a homeless person in the woods? They have to be out there, just creating their own shelter. There's some dude out there in the woods right now who's the greatest survivor, and we've just never heard about him because he ain't about that talk. He's about that walk. All right. He's out there shooting squirrels. He's out there probably trying to mate with wildebeests. I don't know. But he's out there living, brother. All right. And I think that's some weird thing. I think that's why you hit a certain age and you start longing for that, like those basic comfort dopamine hits. It's weird because when I go fishing and you feel that exhilaration of catching a fish, it just speaks to your core. I think that's why guys love bow hunting and fishing and ice baths and all the stuff that challenges you, because it hits on your built-in reward systems. I think that's why things like porn and what else? Social media and all these things that are just like toxic versions of those reward systems. Because that's what I think it is. I feel like social media is literally the opposite of social. And it's like a fake tribe. It's a fake tribal thing. But it just is really like a comparison tool. And I think that's what fucks people up, is the comparison side of it. Because you're comparing your real life to people's best foot forward. There's not many people that are putting their real shit on social media. That's the truth. 99.9%. We're not putting bad days. Shout out to the people that are. All right. It's a weird existence. And I think the same thing with like porn and all those things like that, is where it's just diet life. It's fake. It's toxic. It drains you eventually. Hey, how's it going? Anyway, and that's why we seek those like real reward systems. Dude, why do you think just like hanging out, like, dude, one of my favorite things to do is just hang out with comics. I love just shooting the shit, talking and everything, because it's a tribal feeling. It really is. Because when I'm around comics and I can just speak freely and say whatever I want to say and they're not going to be judged for it, it's like, oh, this is the tribe. This is my tribe, you know? And it's a different kind of group of people. And I love it. I love every single one of you goddamn freaks. Now, there's a lot of you I don't really like that much. But you get the point I'm making, is that we long for those like built-in reward systems. And I don't think there's anything wrong with seeking those out, like real struggles and real things. And there's been like so much stuff, and obviously it's in jest. I've never been on a dating app. Unless you count like Facebook, Instagram, MySpace back in the day, shout out. But like, there's the thing of, I've always wondered this, like when girls are like, oh my God, another guy with a fish, like when guys are posing with their fish, that man is trying to tell you he's a provider. Okay. That is him being like, look, I will do what I need to do to bring home food. You're lucky if that fisherman, picks you. All right. Because that's just a great life, being in the outdoors, hitting the river. All right. That's where happiness is. at least for me. And I wonder if that's some built-in thing from the way you grow up. Because there's some people who are like, they don't get that hit from nature. They get it from the city. They literally get it from the opposite. They need to hear cars honking. Like those people from the East Coast who are just freaks, and they're just like, yeah, I can't sleep unless I hear fucking someone fighting out the window over gabagool in a parking spot, you know? And it just smells like dead rats. Hey, to each their own, I guess, you know? But that ain't the life for me. What else is going on? I got to put the air conditioner on. I'm fucking starting to sweat in here. All right. Thought I was completely out of the woods. Your boy's still feeling it a little bit. All right. Still got a weird little cough. But I was like, we can't put off the podcast anymore. All right. It doesn't take much to do the podcast, but I need to keep doing it. I am trying to do more. I think we've talked about this before, of trying to switch up the content a little bit and trying to figure out how we can do more stuff, do more behind the scenes, like vlog stuff and things like that. Start more stuff on the road is what my goal is. Your boy's going out. We're planning some stuff out of town and starting to travel with comedy and things like that, and which is something I'm super excited about. I think I've hit a point where it feels not stagnant, but I'm like, I need to be moving on to the next level of doing comedy. I just need to keep growing and evolving and getting scared and feeling uncomfortable and feeling like a piece of shit and like I can't do something. And I need that stoke underneath of me to make me get better and to progress. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to move on to the next level. I'm trying to move on from needing clients and working. And I'm eventually going to get to the point where stand-up and, videos and podcasting is going to be my only income. And you might be like, Evan, are you making money from podcasting? No, I haven't made a penny. Actually, I'm lying. I did have a listener, shout out to Mikey Schwartz, sent me, I believe, $20 to do an ad read. And I did it from Mikey's got the yum yums. All right. That's another freebie right there. But no, I'm losing money on this because I pay $20 a month for hosting for this podcast. Not complaining, chasing my dreams. I'm out here rocking in the real world. All right. Just me, my two-spirited gender. And we're just living. All right. We're just out here living, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know what's been going on. If we should talk about current events and silly things that have happened. I don't know if I get too serious with the podcast sometimes, but we're going to look at something. If there's anything going on right now, I feel like movies haven't been that good. There's a lot of stuff going on that I just don't care about. Like this, right? Saying Real Madrid versus Napoli. I don't give a fuck about soccer. I don't give a fuck about football. All right, there, I said it. I don't know what it is. They do nothing for me. People get so invested. I think it's just something to do, is to just care about this team. Like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Football. Blah. Like, the fantasy football, people get so into it, which always feels weird. There's something weird with fantasy football. You're just like building your team. Feels a little weird. We don't need to get into it. I used to love doing that with fights, like with the UFC, like on DraftKings. You would have to like pick a team of fighters that you thought were going to win throughout that card. I used to get so deep into it. That's how I would like pay bills, was betting on fights. And it was stressful because I'd bet a lot of money. For me, it was like a couple hundred to try to win enough money to be able to pay my bills. And when it went great, it was electrifying. And when it went bad, oh my God, it was soul wrenching. Because when you're betting money that you need to pay bills and you lose it all and you're at a deficit, such a deeper deficit, it feels terrible. You feel like such a piece of shit. And then if you're a crazy person, which I never was, I always was like, I need to have a stop loss of how much I'm willing to lose. I would just back out. I'd be like, I'm done. I can't try to chase this, because that's what like degenerate gamblers do. I don't know if that's a term for them, where they lose money. And they're like, I need to chase this. I need to make this up. So then they're getting into fucking caterpillar racing. Like that's got to be the lowest point ever. If you're a gambler and you find yourself getting into like caterpillar racing, that's when you're like, I got a problem with this whole gambling thing. Like, I wonder what the craziest thing is someone has gambled on. Like, could you gamble on like when a cocoon, like when a caterpillar is going to turn into a butterfly? There's had to be something like that. Just random stuff. Like I've heard of, let's see, what's the weirdest thing? They have like weird, like easy ones, but it's just like, that's how you know they're just playing on people's addiction to gamble, is when they're like, oh, is this fighter going to rub their nose during their walkout? Do you think they're going to walk out to this song or that song? And it's just like people are betting $1. They're like, yeah, I'll bet $1 to win 100. You know, it's crazy. I used to do this gamble where I would bet if there was a draw, it was usually like a 10-1 underdog, meaning like you could win 10 times your money. Sometimes it was 100. I want to say I would bet $1 to win 99. And I would always click that option every card that it was going to be a draw. Because I was like, usually averaging every 2 to 3 fight nights, there would be a draw. So as long as I kept betting on every single fight to be a draw, I would win. And it was like a process of doing it that way. But it was boring. And then when I would end up losing money, I would just get angry and, have to go do Uber to make up for my lost wages. Which Uber was a wild thing. I do love a side hustle. I love a way where you could just make money. Like just something quick and just start stacking cash. I love that. Dude, if I got in the wrong path in life, someone could convince me to be a prostitute. Someone could. Okay. Did I get approached that in college? Yeah. I got asked to be a prostitute, allegedly. I feel like I have to say that. While I was living in Puerto Rico, I got asked if I wanted to be a man whore. Basically, it would be for, how do I say this? Someone I knew, their sister, no. Somebody I knew, their girlfriend's sister was a madame, and meaning they ran like an in-house brothel. And you might be picturing like the 1800s, like someone with running a brothel. Pretty sure it was just an apartment that had a couple rooms that people would go fucking. And they tried approaching me for it. They thought I was a good candidate. First of all, flattering. They told me I could make some decent money. I think at the time they were saying you could be making between $400 to $1,000 per. You know what I'm saying? That's not bad cash. And I was like, look, I'm just not into that. That's just, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it. And they were like, listen, it'll only be with like professional business women and everything like that. And I couldn't do it. It sounds like a cool life, but I think at the end of it, you're just like, nah, you can't do it. I feel like that would eat your soul away eventually. But if I was hurting for money at the time, if I wasn't just a college student and I was like, oh, I'm in a pickle, you can get that pickle, Maybe that's what I would call my business. Because I'd be like, no, like my entrepreneur brain would be like, I need to work with you as a partner. I'm not going to be your employee. So I'm going to approach you as Evan's Pickles Emporium and more. Because I'm like, I have to offer other services. That's a pro tip. That's a business tip for you young hustlers out there. The upsell. All right. You want to always have the additionals. That's where you make your bread and butter. You loop them in with the pickle, and then you start adding these other services in there. Like, oh, do they want the fluffy wuffy? It's just something you made up. Check it off. You walk in there with a little thing, with a little booklet. You say, okay, you're here for the pickle? And they're like, yes. And you're like, okay, well, that's going to be a flat rate of $400. Do you want the fluffle waffle for your tuffle tuffle? And they're going to be like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you feeling crazy? And they're like, I guess $75 right there. Now you're marking off your fees. Once you hit a certain point, that's all profit, baby. Okay. And you start adding in ridiculous stuff. This is where you're adding in your 10-minute massage. Then you're adding in the premium experience. All right. Here's another trick. You have your standard, You have your starter package. That's where you put that $400 price. Then you have your standard. Then you have you name it something cool. You have the standard. That's what you want people to get. And then you have the premium. Guess what? The standard is just a little boost up from the starter. The starter is actually the standard, but you just call it the starter because it makes people go, eh. And then what you do with that standard, most popular package. You want to give them the most bang for their buck with that standard package. All right. Because that's where you want to funnel people. Make the premium a little too out of their range, but because it's going to be more work for you. But if you can get them in that premium, dude, sometimes it's worth the extra spit. I don't even know what happened. I blacked out right now. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That got weird. I felt like Gary Vee, if Gary Vee stood for Gary Vagina for a second there. All right. Don't even get me started on Gary Vee. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know my hatred for him. Do I still watch a video of Gary Vee's every now and then and get education from it? Yeah. But come on, Gary. Gary's like, what is he now? And he's over here, he's just like, go get your Pokemon cards and just go fucking sell them. Maybe I don't want to sell my Poke cards, okay? Maybe I want to keep that Charizard, all right? How many yard sales are you going to, Gary Vee? All right, he always talking about go to a yard sale, you buy this, and you sell. Where do you think these yard sales are? Are you taking a time machine back to 1999 to find anything good at a yard sale? Because that's the truth now. If you go to a yard sale now, you best just be going for moldy, dry, smelly, stale baby clothes. All right. The next time you go to a yard sale, you're going to come across a lot of baby clothes. Yard sales are never what you think they're going to be when you're pulling up. You see a ton of stuff and you're like, oh, this is great. You walk up and you're like, I need negative stuff from here. I not only do I not need anything, I want to drop stuff off here. Okay. That's how this is making me feel. I walked by a yard sale in my neighborhood maybe a week ago, and they had 12 people there just sitting there waiting for people to come along. And I was like, and they waved to me, and I was walking my dog and I was like, hey, I waved back. Don't be so intimidating as a yard sale. 12 people? Some of them had cowboy hats on. Listen, don't be so intimidating. I want to do nothing less than go to your yard sale because I was like, 12 people, you guys are pushing this hard. Okay. You go to, and I feel like it's disrespectful because I've been on the other side of a yard sale where people come in and they look around and they go, thank you. I'm like, hey, my shitty shit ain't good enough for you. All right. The disrespect that you feel when people don't want your emotionally driven old shit, it's heartbreaking. All right. When people come up to my yard sale and they go, thank you, and they walk away, I want to go, hold on a second. No. Come back here. My childhood meant nothing to you? Huh? Why don't you take a little gander at the fishing stuff again? Yeah, it's not any of my good fishing stuff. Oh, yeah? Why don't you take a gander at that $5 Scarface poster I got over there in the corner? Oh, you don't want that old football helmet that no one played football with in this family? We just somehow had a football helmet. You don't want that for $6? That's another thing. Pricing at a yard sale. No one knows how to do it. Listen, if I show up to your yard sale and you have prices on them, like you've actually tagged every single one of your things, I don't want to do business with you because you're taking this way too serious. What do you think, you're Ross? What do you think, I'm about to dress for less all over this fucking depressed place? Bars. It's too much. And listen, you want to see me be disrespectful? Catch me at a yard sale negotiating. Okay, because while I care if someone wants my childhood memories, I know you're just trying to get rid of this stuff. I drive a hard bargain. Because you know what I'm doing? I'm going to be grouping stuff. I'm going to be going there and I'm going to say, oh, I want this little table. I want this random little fishing thing. Well, how much for that and that? Well, individually, 4 and 4. put them together, I'll give it to you for $6. How about you give it to me for $2 and I'm getting the fuck out of here? Okay. People always cave. They do, because they're just like, I'm just trying to get rid of this. And listen, the same thing for me. If you come up to me at a yard sale and you just offer me something, sure, take it. All right. I remember there was one time, and this isn't an Evan do good moment. There was these kids. It was like an old PlayStation with a bunch of games, and they didn't seem like they had a lot of money. And the mom was like buying clothes and everything, and she asked how much the PlayStation was and everything. And I had I think I was doing like $10 for the PlayStation, $5 for all the games with it. And she just had a couple clothes, and I saw her think about it. And the kids wanted the PlayStation, and they were like, it works and everything. And like, it was one of those situations where the parents don't speak English and, the kids have to translate, and the mom just couldn't do it. And then I just ended up giving it to him. I'm like, I don't give a shit about this. Yeah, here, just take it. If you buy those clothes, just take it, And guess what? That's not even something to flex with, because it just makes you feel good. And that's what's like the dopest thing about doing something nice, is it makes you feel equally good, if not better than the person receiving. Because in my little silly brain, I go, ha ha, hee hee, I just made their day so nice. Those kids are going to get to play this forever, and they appreciate it. And they're going to be like, Papa, yo quiero jugar fucking Grand Theft Auto contigo. And he's going to be like, sí, muñeca, And I'm like, I just made this life great for them, In reality, it probably tore their family apart. Because I don't know if some of those games didn't work. Some of them were scratched. All right. But that's also, imagine someone trying to return something to a thrift store. To a garage sale. Imagine that. They show up the day, you do it Saturday, Sunday. They show up Sunday morning. They're like, hey, yeah, this helmet didn't work. My cousin's dead. Cool. Why don't you bury him with it? Because you need to get off my property with that kind of energy. All right. I'm running a business here. All right. This isn't charity. You know what you signed up for with that helmet. All right. And that's just how you run business, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to this episode. I love you guys. It's great to be back. I think next week we're going to have a guest. All right. We took some time. Listen, I love you guys. Everybody who ever listens to the podcast, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for spending your time with me, even though it's just such a dumb conversation. Thank you. It feels good. It's fun. And we're just going to keep rocking it out there in the free world. All right. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. If you haven't gone on my YouTube, it would mean the world to me if you went subscribed. Because I'm posting more content there and everything. Instagram's weird. We're going to be redoing the personal website, start doing a newsletter and things like that with dates and shows and just fun things going on. We're going to start dropping merch. Listen, I'm someone that's very timid with self-promotion. I know that might seem crazy to you, but there's a lot of things I don't promote and don't do because I just feel like, I don't know. I'm like, people, I don't want people to spend money on me. I want people to spend money on merch and like all this stuff. I'll just keep doing everything for free. But then there's like a certain point where it's like, I need to start making this my life or else I'm not going to be able to do it forever. And I want to do it forever. And I know that if I can start doing this full time, that I'm going to start making stuff that's at least of value in some way. Might be thrift store value, might be a yard sale value, but maybe someone will want this broken helmet, Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I love you. And I'll see you later.